Greetings. My name's Timothy Morton, and I'm the developer of the Bible Analyzer Bible Study software and also of the PreservedWords.com website. And with this video, we're going to introduce the first complete digital edition of the original King James 1611 Bible. As many of you know, that this year's 2011 is the 400th anniversary of the publication of the King James Bible, and we spend a great deal of time here at BibleAnalyzer.com developing this 1611 edition in celebration of this blessed book which the Lord has given us and preserved for us these 400 plus years. This digital edition contains all the original chapter headings, all the marginal notes and alternate readings, all the italics are tagged, all the cross references, all the original spelling and punctuation. It is as close to the first printing of the King James Bible as we can get. Let's take a look at the module information page here for a second. And you'll see here that we give some of the details of how this text was developed. We also give details of the appearance of the text and the special font that is distributed with the text, as you'll see in just a moment. We have a passage on the influence of the King James Bible and how much influence it has had on society and mankind and language and culture and all of those in general. And it's the most influential book that has ever been published in any language, we believe. There's an excerpt from Majestic Legacy that was compiled by Dr. Phil Stringer, and there's a link to the rest of the article if you want to go there. We have the dedicatory to the King James Bible that is found in the original, and we have an image of the first page that is roughly actual size. It depends on your screen resolution. But you'll notice here is the image of Genesis chapter 1, and as you can see, the font is in what they call a black letter font. It's a little difficult to read by modern eyes, but we're going to show you this just to show you some of the details that are found in our digital edition. Here you see the chapter headings. We'll see those in a moment. Here you see cross references in the margin, on the side margins. Also, there's alternate readings and so forth. There are little indicators in the text, and there's italics that are in the Roman font. Now let's move this over a little bit. I'll resize this window some to where we can see the digital edition better. And we'll click here. This takes us to Genesis chapter 1 in the 1611. Let's make that a little larger till we can see it better. Make the font size a little larger. All right, here are the chapter headings. Genesis chapter 1. As you'll notice right off, we have the long S in there that was used up until about the year 1800 in a lot of English printed text. But that is an S, but it looks like an F without the crossbar. And it is found all throughout this digital edition. Here are the chapter headings. If you look over here, you'll find that there's the first one, the creation of heaven and earth, and of the light. And here is the chapter headings in the digital text. Also, they're hot linked. You put the mouse cursor over the verse reference, and that verse will pop up. If you click the verse, the display will scroll to that verse and allow you to see that immediately. Now let's go back up and look at some more of the details in this text. You'll notice that there is an asterisk there, which corresponds to this asterisk, and that is a reference to the marginal notes that are on the side. There you see that there's Psalm 33:6, and if you'll look over here, there's Psalm 33:6. It took a great amount of work for a brother to type all this in. This was all hand typed in about a 2-year period. And as you can see, there's a lot of detail and a lot of effort went into it. We go on down. There are other indicators. Here's the cross indicator, which is an alternate reading. And there's a pipe symbol, the double pipe symbol, and so forth. But this is a complete digital edition of the King James Bible. But more than that, you see that the cross references and the marginal readings are indicated in the text. But if you click a button here that says to show the footnotes, you'll see now they become in line with the text. And there you'll see that the marginal readings are in with the text on a different color font, and also the cross references are available via a pop-up. So you just put the cursor over the link for the reference, and they'll show up in a pop-up. All right, let's take a look at another interesting thing that's in this edition. Let's go to what's known as the peculiar foreign words that are found in some of the Old English text, which are foreign characters. And here you'll see one. That looks like a E over a Y. Well, that was an Old English or Middle English way of representing the word the. Y could have the TH sound, and you put an E above it. That was an abbreviated way of saying the. And this has been completely retained in this digital text. And there's another one that has a T over a Y, and that represents the words that. There are around 100 or so of these in the King James Bible text. Also, you will find that this text, to be as close as a representation of the original as possible, also contains the Apocrypha. And it is placed between the books, between the testaments, just like it is in the printed text. And here you'll see they're also in a different color. And you can click those and go to the books called Apocrypha. They're completely searchable. They're completely readable, just like the regular Bible text. Of course, we do not believe the Apocrypha is part of the canon of Scripture. And you can see, just like in the printed edition, we have the word Apocrypha put at the top of every page, just so that people cannot be confused in that they are reading an apocryphal book. That is a book that is not part of the canon. Now, just to show you, let's close our image out over here. Just to show you how accurate this representation of the text is, let's just type in a couple places where the original King James Bible had errors in it. And let's go over to Psalm 69. And if you go to Psalm 69, verse 32, you'll find the verse says, "And your heart shall live that seek good." Well, that is an error. Good there is an error. And as you can see when we click the AV text, you can see that it says seek God. You will find all over the internet and all over those that write criticisms of the King James Bible that there are thousands or hundreds of thousands of differences between the 1611 edition and the 1769 edition. And we will concede there are some differences of the textual nature, but they are very, very few, as you will see in a moment. Most of the differences are differences in spelling, punctuation, and word case or word form, but not differences in the words themselves. But here is one difference that is in the word, and you can see how easy it would be for a 17th century typesetter to make a mistake such as this. You put the word good in place of God. There's another one, as you can see. We'll look at Matthew chapter 4, and let's go to verse 25. And if you'll look here, you'll see, "And there followed him great." There a word is doubled. That's another type of the error that's found in the original 1611 edition. And we go to the 1769, you'll see that the second great was taken out. Let's make this just one step smaller so we can show you something else you can do with this text that you can do with all the others. It's completely searchable. For instance, let's click on this word, ship. We'll click on that and it will search the King James 1611 for the word ship with the odd spelling and all. As you can see here, this is in italics, which has the italicized long S, and here is the long S in the word ship. So it's completely searchable. It's just like the regular 1769 edition of the 1611 King James Bible. There's another thing you can do with this text that's found only in Bible Analyzer that I'm aware of. But you can do a text comparison. And we have a Bible Compare feature found in Bible Analyzer. And if we put the standard 1769 first and the 1611 second, and we do type in a reference, just type in for the whole book of Galatians, and do a comparison, you will see a display will pop up, and it will show that there are 1,951 differences between the current 1769 edition and the 1611 edition. And in the center will be listed all the differences, all the subtractions and additions. But you can see there just very quickly at a glance that they all basically, or most of them, appear to be spelling differences or word case differences. So we have filters. We will click the filters. We will remove the punctuation, remove the word case, and we'll do the search again. And that brings it down to 1,706 differences. And again, when you look, you'll see that it's mainly just spelling or some of the long S's I've got in there, and the difference, a logarithm, has saw that as a difference. So let's ignore those two. Let's ignore most of the spelling differences and ignore the compound words. We'll click it again. That brings us to 41 differences. And what are the nature of those? Well, here we see a truncated word where as is often found in the 1611, where the M is taken off. And there we have fro for from. So that's no difference in a word. Here you have you for ye or ye for you. Here we have then and than. And that again. Here we have one of the thorn words, thorn characters, and so forth and so on. As you can see, the differences are basically insignificant. There is a word, vainglory, where it is two words in one and one word in the other. So, as you can see, the differences are extremely minor and are very, very few. But that's one thing that you can do with this new digital edition of the 1611, is you can directly compare it with the 1769 edition and see exactly where all the differences are. But this is just some of the features you'll find in Bible Analyzer and this new 1769 and 1611 edition of the King James Bible. Also included is this very special 17th century replication of a font. And you can also use some of the more modern fonts, but it will not show all of the characters as accurately as this 17th century font will show. And it is included with the distribution of Bible Analyzer. We just pray that this text will go forth and continue to bless mankind as it has in the last 400 years, and we know it will. We are sure it will. It has been a great blessing to mankind. One of the greatest blessings that the God of heaven has ever given mankind is the King James Bible in the English language, which has been translated into thousands of other languages. And for the first time in 400 years, it is available in complete digital form, and it is free from our website, BibleAnalyzer.com, as well as the Bible Analyzer program. We hope you find this value in this text of value. Thank you.